guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a beginner smoky eye look, as you can see here. And if you want to see how you get this look, then just keep on watching. The first thing we want to make sure we have when we're doing a good smoky eye is to have a good eye base, which I'm going to be using the Anastasia one today. I went ahead and did the brows off camera, and I'm going to be applying this with my fingers today, because I feel like it blends out the product better than a sponge or a brush. Make sure we get that distributed all over the lid so we can have good color payoff. In the past, when I've tried to blend this out with sponges, it kind of made it a weird texture. It gives it that layer that the shadows can blend into instead of it being like a super sticky base. Now that we got that laid down, I'm going to start off by going in with a cream colored shadow to set as the base. This is optional, but I feel like it allows the shadows to blend better. I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Brulee shade. Now we're going to go into the transition shade, which this is going to be the shade that goes in between your brow bone and the crease color, so it's going to be about right in this area. And this allows the color to kind of have a gradient and not be so drastic between the brow bone and the crease color. And today I'm going to be going in with the Ulta Beauty Collection shade Desire. We're going to mostly focus this near the crease outer V area. We don't want to go too far into the inner corner because we want to kind of keep this like clean.
There's a lot of different smoky eyes that we can do, but today we're going to kind of be mostly doing your kind of classic deep browns and black in the outer V. Go with on the other side.
We're going to be going into our first true crease shade. I'm going to take the shade Central Park from the Jaclyn Hill palette on this Morphe brush. The thing ripped off, so I don't know what the number is, but I can put it in the description box. We're going to tap into there. We're going to mostly focus in this area. And again, kind of like the transition shade, we want to make sure that we kind of stay in this area, not so much down here. Make sure that you get the transition shade and the crease shade blended together so it creates that good gradient.
I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye off camera.
There's two main routes that we could take with this look. We could either do something shimmery on the lid, or we could take a darker shade that's a matte shade over the lid, which today I'm going to do matte because I feel like for a beginner tutorial I think shimmers is a whole nother video, so I'm going to stick with the mattes. For the matte lid shade, I'm going to be taking the NYX Diamonds and Ice palette in the shades Jeweled and Jaded. I'm going to take this matte brown all over the lid. The best way I like to do matte shades when we have dark colors like this is to stipple and kind of press them on. So when I take the brush, I'm going to sit here and kind of do like these paddling motions. And kind of stamp the eyelid. You can go back in with the crease brush that you used earlier, like the one I did, and you can go back over the lines to make sure that you can not see a differentiating between the lines to make sure it's seamless. I'm going to go ahead and do the other eye off camera. Now that we've got the matte shade over both of the lids, I'm going to go in with a cream shade in the inner corners here. You certainly don't have to. You could take the dark shade and go all over the lid, but I kind of like to have a nice gradient, not make sure it's so in your face with the dark color. I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Enchanted Forest palette and take the shade Let's Kringle, which is this good neutral cream color in the inner corners. I'm going to take that on this Wet n Wild eyeshadow brush, kind of just a flat dome kind of brush. I'm going to take that and kind of just stamp it in there. If you want to add an extra layer of depth to your look, you can take a matte black and go in with the outer corners and kind of depthen the look a bit. I'm going to go back in with the Jack on the Hill palette and take the shade Abyss and put that on the outer corner. Kind of take that and just kind of tap it where you feel like it needs more. And since we already have that matte brown down, we don't need to add a whole lot, but if you wanted to, you can. For the brow bone, I'm going to go back in with that creme brulee color from Wet n Wild on that same brush from Wet n Wild. A thing I also want to mention is that if you have a lot of brushes and you're using a lot of colors and you don't want to get up and have to wash them all the time, there's a product called a Color Switch where it's a dry dish that you take your brush and you swirl it around in there and it gets the color off instantly, and it's a really good investment. Take that in the inner corner as well. You can also add a little bit where that one color that we put from the Too Faced palette if you want to. Since this is a beginner look, I'm going to not do any kind of drastic wing liner. I'm just going to do a simple line over the eye. I'm going to take the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner for that. I'm going to take that, kind of start in the middle and work our way out. If we were doing a winged liner, we would take this and kind of go up, and then we could connect it back, but since we're just doing a regular line, we're not going to do that today. I'm sorry if the tip on this looks weird. It keeps getting smashed into the cap, but it's still a good liner, so. Whenever you're doing liner, you want to make sure the beginning of your line, which will be in the inner corner here, is thin, and you don't want to get thicker until you're out here if you're doing a wing. It should look like that after that. I'm going to do the other eye off camera. We got both of the eyes lined, and now I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Lash Bang mascara and put that on both the eyes. It has a similar brush to the L'Oreal Paris Paradise mascara. It's kind of got that curvature in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and take that on both the eyes. I'll go ahead and do the other eye off camera as well. Since this is a beginner's tutorial, I'm not going to do any false lashes because that's pretty advanced. Anyone who's looking for a beginner tutorial is not looking to do false lashes. I'm going to do my face makeup off camera, but I'll go over what I use at the end. For primer, I use the same Smashbox Oil Control Primer. For foundation, I use the Maybelline Super Stake Full Coverage Foundation in the shade 102 Fair Porcelain. For powder, I'd use the same Huda Beauty one. For bronzer and blush, I used the bronzer that was in the Too Faced palette. The one named Rudolph on the bottom. For blush, I used the trio from Anastasia, and I used the shade Blank, which is this one. And for highlighter, I used the NYX Stand Your Ground highlighter. There's a clearance tag on it, but opened up, it's a little bit easier to see. I'm going to do the under eyes now. I'm going to take what we had left over from that brush that we used to stamp on the top lid. I'm going to use the rest of that underneath the eye. I could just drag it underneath the lash line. I don't like to do drastic under eye liner or any kind of shadow because I feel like sometimes I kind of drag my eyes down, and I like the clean look. I'm going to do mascara on the bottom too. For the mascara on the lower lashes, I'm going to go in with the Clinique High Impact Mascara. If it'll come open. I can't tell you how many times I've left the house without under eye mascara. There was one time I forgot to leave the house for school without any brows on. That would have been terrifying. Whenever I do smoky eye looks, I tend to like to keep the lipstick nude and not too drastic. I'm going to take the LA Girl Stay Auto Liner in the shade Keep It Spicy, which is kind of a good spicy color. I'm going to go in with the MAC Velvet Teddy lipstick underneath. If you tend to do smoky eyes with, like, let's say a red lip, it's going to be too loud and it makes the look kind of chaotic. Which is why if you do a nude lip, that way you can focus on the eyes and not so much down here. As you can see, the lip liner acts as a good contrast edge, so that way you get the contour on the edges, but you get the nice light color on the inside. I'm going to seal it in with the Milani Make It Last setting spray. I would say this is really comparable to the All-Nighter spray from Urban Decay. This is the look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.